So, welcome to the first webinar of 2026. For most of you, you're just coming out of peak season, so hopefully that went as smoothly as it can. However, that looks in the world of short-term rentals. I know it's never completely smooth. Hopefully it was as smooth as possible. And now things are starting to settle down, and you might be looking forward to next peak season already, working on your business and improving for next time. So today's session, we're going to look at how to manage your listing features in Homhero, which will help boost your bookings, both on your OTAs and on your direct website as well. Like I said, today's session is going to be recorded. It will be uploaded to our YouTube channel as the previous ones were. We do also have them on our knowledge base now, so that's where you usually find your help articles. You can also find our previous webinars. In case you missed the previous ones, they are up there now, or in case you just liked them so much you want to watch them again, feel free to go back and find them there. So throughout today's session, if you do have any questions, please feel free to drop them in the Q&A box there. I won't get to those until the end of the session, so I'll open them up right at the very end, depending on how much time we have. If I don't get to yours, I will try to reach out to you afterwards. You'll notice that there is an option to submit them anonymously, but obviously then I can't reach you if I don't get to it during the session. I won't know who submitted it. So if you can submit those with your details, I won't share it on screen or call out your name or anything like that. It just means I can reach you afterwards if I need to. Lovely. So today's topics, we are going to look at why you should have more features on your listings, what benefit that has for you, what sort of features are available in Homhero to add to your listings, some of the most searched features on Airbnb, what your guests are actually looking for, how to use the feature mapping tool in Homhero, which is something that a lot of you may not know of, so that will be a fun one to go through. And that does include your Airbnb attributes for amenities as well. These are reasonably new, so even if you're familiar with the feature mapping tool, attributes is something that might be new to you, so stick around for that one. Then we'll look at how to actually add those features to your listings. I'll show you the quick link to your OTA listing so you can view your listing online nice and easily. Then there is some other features within Homhero, not just your listing features, but you've got things like services and safety features. So I'll cover those near the end. We'll also look at tagging your images with accessibility amenities, and those are really important. Lastly will be your Q&A. So if we do have time, I will cover any questions that have come up. Okay. First topic, why should you have more features? Why do you need to add these features to your listings? The obvious answer, obviously we have a guest here that is looking for their accommodation. If they're already thinking of a specific feature, then obviously they're more than likely to select that during their search. If your property has that feature and you're not advertising it, then you are going to be filtered out right from the start. They're not even going to see your listing. So it's really important to make sure that you are keeping those up to date. You do have all of your, if you've got a feature at your property, make sure you're advertising it. Otherwise you might not be found in searches. And this isn't just for your big features like your swimming pool, your pet-friendly properties. Those are sort of the ones you think of that are pretty exciting and important to have on your listing. But there are smaller and less exciting features that you might not remember to add. Something like a clothes iron or a printer might be something that you gloss over and forget to add. But for some people, that's really important when they're looking for their accommodation. They might be traveling for work or for an event like a wedding, and that's an essential item for them. Even though it's not a big flashy family holiday swimming pool, bring the dog along, they really need an iron or a printer. So it's important to remember those small features as well. So even if your property does have all of the bells and whistles, it might be beautifully styled. You've got all of the reviews flowing in, you've got really good pricing on it. But if you don't have that feature that the guest is looking for, they don't even get a chance to consider your property. So the more features you have on your listing, the more search results you're going to appear in, which can only be a good thing. Now onto the OTAs. Each site is obviously trying to compete against each other to get the most bookings because they want the commission from that booking, right? So part of that involves finding the properties which they think that the guest is most likely to book. They have really complex algorithms on their end that use a lot of data points to customize it to the person that is searching for accommodation. So that's why you might find sometimes that when you search for your property, it doesn't show up very high in search results, but for someone else, it's the first one that they find. That is completely customized to the person that is searching most of the time. So your OTA will present in a different order depending on what they think you are most likely to book. It's obviously not all algorithms in guessing. They do give the guests some choice when they're searching. So if we have a look in here, the booking.com, that first one there that's got the map, booking.com suggests previous filters that the guest has searched for. They also have popular filters in the area and smart filters powered by AI, so the guest can type in what they're looking for and it will use smart filters there. The next one beside that is VRBO, so they also have popular filters in the area. If other guests are searching for beachfront properties in that area, then it's going to recommend that to the guest. And down the bottom there, Airbnb has, they're a little bit more clear that that's recommended for you based on your previous searches and bookings. So this is my work account that I've searched for. Obviously, by the looks of things, I like to find accommodation and just get in for the night, cook, do my washing, and relax. Compared to when I searched on my personal account, the suggested filters for me were Wi-Fi, free parking, and 2 bathrooms. So even though I'm the same person searching in both, it's basing on previous things that I've searched for and it's recommending those filters. So in comparison to the first case where I said that the guest is selecting the feature because they are thinking about it already, it's essential to their stay, they really want a property with a swimming pool. In these cases, the guests might actually add these filters simply because the OTA reminded them that they like those things. They might not have specifically been looking for a beachfront property before, but now that they've seen it as a recommended filter, they might click on that. And again, if you are a beachfront property and you don't have your property listed as beachfront, they might just be wiped out from their search completely. So it's all about adding all of the features that you do actually have at your property to make sure that you're showing up in search results, whether you think that that is a big important feature, whether most of your guests are searching for that, or whether it's just everything that you have, because for some person that is important to their stay, so you don't want to miss out on that booking. Cool, so that is why to have the features. Next question will be, well, what are all of those other features that I can add to my listing, right? So each OTA has different features available, and there's quite a few available in Homhero to map. You'll see Airbnb has 143 features available, Booking.com has the most at 260, and VRBO with 103. I've just plucked some sort of more obscure features from each of those, just to give you an idea of sort of the type of features that are available on the OTA. So it is not just swimming pool, kitchen. It can be really niche. It can be a climbing wall, a marble bathroom specifically, or a historic theme. You might not think of, anything here that would be enticing to your guests, but you might have some people that are specifically looking for a historic property to stay in. Okay. Next one, obviously, those are probably not your most popular features. They are an option, but maybe not what most people are searching for. So we do have some insight from Airbnb about what the most searched features are. We just have the 2 locations here at the moment. So if this is your area, obviously take a good close look at that, at what the most searched properties are, most searched amenities are for the properties. But you'll see that they're pretty similar. They're actually the same features across both of those, just in a slightly different order. The biggest difference there being barbecue, number 10 for North Coast, and number 14 for Jervis Bay, but otherwise it's just a couple in between. So those are a good start. If you don't already have all of those most searched features on your listings, definitely something to look at adding. Lovely. I will exit out of here. We're not quite ready for Q&A. I have a few more things to cover yet. We'll jump back into Homhero directly. So now that we've touched a little bit on why you should have more features, how many features are available, what types, what they're searching for, now we can get into the good stuff and actually make some changes in Homhero to advertise those. So in Homhero, we have a really handy tool called Feature Mapping that I mentioned at the start. If you have just recently joined Homhero and you were involved in the setup, then you're probably familiar with it. Or if you joined a while ago, you might have used it, but it's something that you might just use once and then forget that it exists. Or if you weren't involved in the setup, then you may not know this tool at all. So I'll just briefly explain how that works. It will be under your booking engine and then listings on your left-hand side. Up the top here, you will have manage and then features. Now in here down the left-hand side, this is all of your features that you have available to select in Homhero at the moment. These are completely custom. You can add as many features in here as you like. You can create all sorts of things, name them whatever you need. But on the OTAs, they all name them differently. So we saw earlier that Airbnb has 143 features, Booking.com 200 plus. So obviously there'll be some that are on some OTAs and other OTAs don't offer them. They also have them different names. So this tool helps you link all of that together, have one central place in Homhero for each feature, and link it up to the matching feature on each OTA if they have it. A really good example of this is the barbecue. So you'll see on the left-hand side within Homhero, we have called it BBQ. That is obviously what will show up in Homhero when you add it to a listing. It's also what will push out to your website, but Airbnb doesn't call it BBQ on their end. So you can't just add this and then we go, oh yeah, push out BBQ to Airbnb. Instead, we need to have a look and find what the matching feature is for Airbnb. So if we hover over, we have already done this in our demo account, and you probably have got most of yours done as well. But if you hover over, oh, mine's just disappeared, you'll see that Airbnb actually calls it barbecue area. So we have mapped that up to say when we add BBQ to a listing in Homhero, we know that you want it to show barbecue area on Airbnb. So we'll push that out. And then for each OTA, you'll see Booking.com calls it barbecue grills. It's another name again. And VRBO, they tend to have more American names for their features. So this is called a grill on their end. So there you go. That's how you can have your features all mapped up so that when you create a listing, you don't need to then go into each OTA and select from their available list. You'll create a list in Homhero, map it up so it's preset, ready to go. When you add BBQ to a listing, we now know to push out barbecue area to Airbnb, barbecue grills to Booking.com, and grill to VRBO. Okay. Those are your three main ones. Obviously, we've got 3 extra columns beside it as well. So if you are using these 2 channels, Staymakers and HVMB, which is Marriott, you can do your mapping in here as well. The last one here is Google. Now, if you are not currently on Google Vacation Rentals, I do recommend that you consider going on this channel. It is completely free. They don't charge you commission for your bookings, so it really doesn't hurt at all to get that set up. It will essentially show up when you're searching, vacation rentals Jervis Bay. Google will pop up with the ones that they have found online, so you can put your listing in there. Then it will basically direct them through your website. It comes through, it looks like a direct booking for the guest, and you can still set it up on your end to treat it. You can have a booking source for Google so you know that it's come through the Google Vacation Rentals. But if you are in here already doing your feature mapping, I would recommend that you just map to Google anyway while you're here, while you're already doing it all in one place. That will just be in preparation for if you do want to look at connecting to Google later on. If you do, feel free to reach out to support or check our knowledge base. We can help you through setting that up. Cool. So I would recommend that you take a look at all of your existing features in here. Update the mapping if you need to. You might find that you've got plenty of features already in here, but they're not actually feeding out to your OTAs because you haven't done the mapping. Or if you find that you are setting up listings and you are manually going into each OTA to add your features, there's a much easier way. If you set it up here, it will reduce a lot of your workload, okay? So if you want to add more features, maybe you come in here and you find, oh, I actually don't have too many features. I've taken a look at all of those features that Booking.com has. I'm sure there's more that I can add to my listings, right? So you can click up the top here, the green button that says Add to create a new feature. It'll come up with this pop-up here. So you can give it a name, and this is what you will use internally as well as on your website. So you do have to make sure that that is a guest-friendly one. Let's use the marble bathroom that we saw from booking.com. I liked that bathroom. That was nice. I'm going to call it luxury marble bathroom because that's how I want it to appear on my website. But I know that booking.com just calls it marble bathroom. So in the booking.com mapping, I can either type in here or I can scroll through to find the matching feature. So we'll go marble, I'll select marble bathroom here. Then we'll probably find that the other OTAs don't actually offer that feature because they all offer different ones. So marble bathroom, like I said, is one of those more obscure ones. I don't think that any of the other channels have that. You can always type to see, nope, nothing there. They don't even have bathroom or bath or anything on VRBO. So that's fine. If there is no matching feature, then you don't have to select anything here. It just means that it won't send anything out to VRBO. You can add luxury marble bathroom to your listing. It'll show up on your website. It'll show up on booking.com as a marble bathroom. And then the others, we have nothing to send to them. So that's fine. Okay. Perfect. So if you do use those other channels, again, you do the same. You just search for it. And your Google one here as well, if you're adding your Google mapping while you're already in your features. The one that I did skip was Airbnb up the top because this one is a little bit different. I'll just save this one and I'll go back to the barbecue as an example. It's probably a better way of doing it. So if you want to edit an existing feature, let's edit this barbecue one. We've got the green pencil. We can see in here that it's already mapped to barbecue area, but we have this extra column called attributes, okay? If we go and edit the mapping, you'll find that there's these extra items that you can add. So yes, it's a barbecue area, but we can add some more information about that. We can actually select what type of grill it has and whether it's a private barbecue or a shared barbecue. So if you manage properties that are within a resort or an apartment complex, you might have barbecues available, but they're shared barbecues with other guests. So you would want to add that sort of attribute to your amenities. These are completely optional. You don't have to come in and add here, but obviously the more information you can give to your guests, the better, to give them a better, more accurate expectation of your property when they get there. If they show up and, oh, it's barbecue, but it's shared, I just assumed it was going to be private, you know? So we can edit that if we want to add these attributes. You'll have this pop up on the right-hand side. So I could toggle on and say, yes, all of our barbecues are actually private barbecues, and then update that. Just keep in mind that that is going to apply to all of your listings that use that feature. So if you've already got your barbecue attached to a lot of listings, some of them are private and some of them are shared, you probably want two separate features set up instead. Okay, so you would want a private barbecue where you would select the attribute here, and then you would want a shared one where you select the attribute as well. Same thing for a barbecue grill type. So an example there, most of yours are probably gas barbecues. Again, if you select it here and later on you get a property that has got an electric barbecue or something like that, just keep in mind that you have already set it up as a gas barbecue. So you might like to rename some of your features as well if you're using those attributes. Rather than just calling it a barbecue, you might want to call it a gas barbecue in Homhero so that you remember you've got that attribute attached to it. Okay. I'll just toggle those ones off. We don't need to have those ones. I don't need to save them. Perfect. So that's your Airbnb attributes. A lot of the features do have attributes. Some of them don't, and that's fine. We have added, actually, it might not be published yet, but I have created an article which has got your available features in there as well as the attributes. So if you want to take a look at that, obviously you can find them within Homhero as well. But if you want to take a look at the article and start thinking about which features you want to add, what sort of attributes are available, you could take a look on there first. Cool. So I'll close this one down. That's all of your how to add new features, how to map it up to OTAs, and how to use those Airbnb attributes as well. There is a couple of other things on this screen which I haven't covered yet. I did say that you can edit here. You can also delete features if you find that it's one that's set up ages ago and isn't being used on your listings, for example. You can just delete it completely. You will get a pop-up if it's attached to a listing though. It'll say, are you sure you want to delete? It's attached to these listings. So if you're deleting it because you've got multiple similar features and you want to tidy it up, it's probably better to merge those together instead. Now, this button won't be visible for you. It is a handy dandy tool on our side. So if you want to go through, take a look at your features, and then if you find some that you want to merge together, then you can just reach out to our support team. We'll help you merge those, okay? So rather than just deleting it, because then it will take it off listings that are using it, we can merge it so you can keep that there. Cool. You can also search for existing features if you have got a lot in here. You can refresh, so if you've got two people working on it at a time and someone's made a change on their end, that will just refresh your features screen rather than refreshing your whole browser. You will find that a lot. You'll find that a lot in Homhero, that you can refresh certain sections without refreshing everything all at once. You can also export a list of your features if you want to check it that way rather than on here. You can download a CSV file. Cool. The last button here is to update your OTA listings. So if you do have, if you do make some changes in here, you will want to make sure that you are pushing that out to your OTAs. So you can click Update OTA Listings. You'll have two options in here. You'll have Update, Don't Remove, which means that any new mapping that you have added will be then added to your listings, but it won't remove any of the other ones that you've taken away. And I would recommend that you're doing this if you're still making changes to your features. If you're going through and doing a big overhaul, you probably want to use Update, Don't Remove until you're happy with it. Then once you've done everything, you can click Update All, and that would remove the old things. So if you have, found that your feature was mapped incorrectly, you've removed the mapping, when you click Update All, then it will remove it from your OTA listings as well. Cool. I'm not actually going to push an update on our one because that is within our demo account. We don't need to do that. Lovely. When we close this one down, because I have made some changes and I haven't pushed an update, it's going to remind me again. You get a third option in here, which is do not update. Not very often you would really need to use that. I would suggest that if you've made changes that you would want to use update, don't remove, or update all if you're happy to remove everything that you've done there. Cool, so I'll cancel on that one as well. Lovely. So once you've completed your feature mapping, and you've set up new features, you have checked that they're all connected to your OTAs in the correct way, then you can go through your listings and make sure they're all up to date and that you are actually advertising the features that you've got. In your features page, your listings page that we're in, you might want to check which listings have got the most features and which ones have the least. You can actually sort your whole page here by number of features. So if you click into the heading, you'll see that it sorts. We've got a lot of listings that don't have features. You'll see that it sorts though from lowest to highest. So our features listings that do have features, our lowest is 1, and if we click again, then our highest is 40. So we've got quite a bit of a range there. We've got some listings that actually have 40 features on them, and we've got others which haven't been properly set up as well as they could have been. I did take a quick sort of spot check on a couple of accounts, you guys that are attending today, just to get a rough idea of the average number of features that everyone's using. The average minimum that I found was about 19. So that's obviously better than our demo account that's got just one feature. So average minimum that I found was 19, and the average maximum was actually 70. That's quite a lot of features. So a big range there. If you find that yours are sitting around that minimum of 19, 20, obviously there's a lot of room there to add many more features and get them all listed on your OTAs. If you are going through all of your listings to go through, one by one and add some features, you probably don't want to sort that by number of features because then it'll change each time you update it. So I'm just going to change that back to sort alphabetically by name. So then I would go through and update them one by one. Cool. I'll open up the first listing here to be able to add features to the listing. We'll double click to edit, or you can use your green pencil as well. And you'll find down the bottom right here that we have actually only got the 4 features attached to our listing. So we can definitely add some more to improve this one. We can go set here to add some more. And in here, we'll find that list of features that we were just looking at in our feature mapping. So anything that you've created will now be available for you to select here. You can type or you can scroll to find. I'm just going to find that marble bathroom that we added before. So it's called Luxury Marble Bathroom. That's what I named it within Homhero. I'll select that and move it over to the left-hand side and then click Set. So now you can see that it has shown up in here. I'm just going to save that listing now that I have added it. It is asking if I want to update my OTA listings as well, which I do. I want to update because I've done my mapping. Ooh, not sure if that noise fed through on your end. I just got the notification noise. If you do have that on your account, by the way, that is possible to switch off. So if that noise, if you're getting that notification noise and you don't like it, we can show you how to switch that off. So I have updated that. I've pushed that through to my OTAs with the new mapping. If I then click on my booking.com icon, I should then see, well, I have some other errors to worry about, but that's our demo account, so that's fine. You can see now that that marble bathroom is now attached to my booking.com listing. So that's sort of the flow of things. You set up your available features first, you map it up to your OTAs if that's available, then you add it to your listing, your main part of the listing, and it will feed through to your OTAs like that. Okay, so if you're currently coming in here and adding them all manually, this will save you a lot of time. It'll also make it easier to manage if features are changing on your listings. You'll only have to update it in the main part. Cool. Now, in here, I mentioned that you'll have a quick link to view your listing on the OTA. I don't have one to actually show you because I'm in our demo account, but in case you didn't know, if you're looking for your listing online, you don't have to manually search for it or have them saved in a spreadsheet or anything like that. You should have a button down here. It'll be blue and it will say like view on booking.com, for example, or view on Airbnb, depending on which OTA you are in. So then you could, if you're making changes, you could then click view and check whether it's updated. That won't update instantly. They are pretty quick, but VRBO will be your slowest. That can take up to 48 hours, really. So if it shows it in here, then it should be feeding through from our side. It might just take a little longer to show on the OTA, but that's a handy little link for you in case you're wanting to check, are my features showing correctly, or my availability or pricing, anything you want to see your listing, you can get to it easily. Cool. While we are in here, obviously the amenity or feature that we set up is showing here under this section, which is room amenities. There are other types of services and features and things depending on the OTA that I mentioned earlier. So you'll see for booking.com that you've got one here called services. Now, services on booking.com tend to be more like hotel services. So if you think about it in the way that your amenities would be something that's in the room and the services would be something that's part of the property itself. Most common for holiday homes, that's going to be your parking is in your services rather than your features. So if you're setting up your features and you can't map up parking, that's because it's here in your services. There are some others in here that might be applicable, so it's still worthwhile taking a look at your services if there's anything else that you want to add. Just note that these ones cannot be mapped. These ones don't come from your feature mapping, so you will have to do this individually on each listing. But it's another thing to look at to make sure that you're getting the most reach as possible on your OTAs is checking. There's quite a few in here too, by the way, so you can take a look in there. If you do have resorts or apartment complexes, you might find that there's some more applicable ones in here, but still worth taking a look. Perfect. VRBO has a similar setup like your services. So I'll just exit out of this one and we'll go into the VRBO icon for this listing. Your features that we've talked about, your feature mapping, that's going to be here under your property amenities. So we've got aircon and barbecue, or grill as they call it, is showing up here. VRBO also has features. Now that's confusing because the name is the same, but features for VRBO tends to be more about the location of the property. So you can set in here, they've got things like a beach location or a beach view, car is recommended for the area. They've got things like golf in the area. So you can take a look in here. Again, these don't come from your mapping. You will have to select them manually. They've also got underneath that your safety features. So that will be things like your smoke detectors and your emergency contacts. If you do select one of those, you will have to type in a description just in that box there beside it, okay? Now with these features, because they are location-based, if your properties are all in the same location, it might be easiest for you to add it to your default settings for a VRBO. If all of your properties are near the beach side, you can put beach location on all of them. So instead of doing it directly on the listing, I'll exit out of here and we can go to your channel management and connections. This is where your default settings live for your OTAs. So channel management, connections. I'm going to start with VRBO. So we'll go to the spanner icon there and then the green pencil to edit your account. And in here, you can see again your features and your safety features. So again, if you've got beach location, you would select that. If all of your properties have it, move it over to the left and then set. So that would then apply to all of your listings. Same as your safety features. If you provide, 000, or if you're in New Zealand, 111, if you provide that as your emergency contact, then you would select here and just put that in because it's the same for every property. So that's your VRBO default settings. Booking.com also has this, so in your spanner icon and then green pencil. They also have the services and the room amenities as a default setting. However, I wouldn't recommend that you add to these ones just because they tend to be a little bit more property specific than the VRBO ones are kind of location related. So it's all fine and dandy if all of your properties now have parking. But if you later on get a property that doesn't have parking, you might have forgotten that you've added it to your default settings. You would need to add it, to your listing anyway. So I feel that that's better to add directly to your listing rather than using these ones. If you definitely always provide, there might be something like linen in there and all of your properties always have linen included, then you could add that here. Otherwise, I would steer away from these to make sure you don't accidentally advertise a feature or a service that you don't have. It's also probably a good idea to come in here and check this to see if you do have anything set up at the moment that you might have forgotten about. If you're finding, that your listings have got features on them that you don't actually have, then it's possible that it's coming from here. Okay, so we are nearing the end of the session. We have looked at setting up your feature mapping, adding them to your listings, maybe using your default services and other types of features available there. One of the last things I want to show you is accessibility amenities. Now, obviously, if you don't require these, we are very privileged to not need accessibility amenities and we might forget to add them to the listing. But obviously for the people that do need them, super, super important. They are definitely searching to find a property that is accessible for them. So important to add that to your listing. Even something as simple as being a single level home. So you might not have specifically shower rails or roll-in showers, but you might have a single level home. And for those that might even just be on crutches, or in a moon boot, which has been definitely myself a couple of times, it is going to make their trip much more relaxing. So they're probably looking for that sort of thing. If you do have those amenities, if you've got single level homes, wide doorways, the roll-in showers, they're really beneficial to add to your listings because it's another reach that you might be missing out on if people are searching that way. If you are using them, and Airbnb requires that you do show it in your images. So you'll need to tag your images to do that. If we go back to our listings page, I'll use a different listing for this one. We'll use Charm on Beechwood. If we pop into the listing and then go to the images tab this time, I've just added one image for this one so you can see. We can edit our images here with the pencil icon. You can give it a title or a caption while you're here. You can tag your other features that you've set up in Homhero, but it's this one here, your accessibility amenities, that you'll want to use. So if this property does have a wide doorway, which you can see it does, select it here because Airbnb won't let you use that feature unless you're showing it in your image. Okay, so add that, just update image. Cool. Now, I have got a little bit of time left, so I've got one other little tidbit that I'm going to add in. It's not really related to your features, but it is related to optimizing your listings. You can see here that we've got a lovely description of our Charm on Beechwood property. If you are like me and creative writing or things like that is not really your thing, that's really hard to come up with, I think, to really describe the property well. You know it, you visited it. How do you describe it to everyone? You can request a description here from an AI agent, okay? You will need to have that enabled in your marketplace, which is just on your left-hand menu. It is free, it's nice and easy to do, but if you get stuck enabling that, just reach out. So if you've got that enabled, you can then click Request Description from AI Agent. And it's actually really clever. If you've used other AI services before, you know that you usually have to give it a few prompts. But it's all connected to Homhero. It's already got all of your property information. So it's got your address of your property, it's got your capacity, it's got all of those lovely features that you added, and it's going to use that to come up with your description. Okay. So you can click Request Description from AI Agent. It will let you review that before you save it. You can edit it if you need to. Obviously, we all know AI still does make mistakes, so please make sure to check that before you just publish that out to all of your booking sites. And that will give you a lovely description. If this sounds like it's up your alley and you want to go ahead and update all of your listings, if you want to do all of them, we do have a bulk tool for that as well. So if we exit out from the listing, I'm not going to save this one. We can go up the top, Manage, and then Bulk AI Descriptions if you want to do it all. You can see in here all of your listings, and we've already done some in here, but you would be able to select the ones that you want to create. You would go Bulk and then Request AI Description. Again, it will let you review it before you save it. So you can take a look at it and go, oh, actually, I don't want to use that at all. That's fine. You can see we have got some in here that are ready for review. So they've actually been generated and not been put on the listing yet. So I could take a look at that with the eye icon. It will show the original description, the AI description. I can take a look over it and I can use that if I want to. Otherwise, you might want to redo it if it was generated before you added all of your nice new features. You could regenerate that and then use it. And then, of course, you could use it and then just edit it slightly if you want to make it a little bit more in line with your wording that you guys usually use. You can reach out to normal support. We have got our contact number there, 1300 246 980. We do also have our live chat within Homhero. If you've just got a quick question, you can reach us there. And you've got your email. If it's not urgent or if it's a little bit more detailed or something like that, might be best to email us. So you've got support@homhero.com.au. If you do have trust-related questions, you can reach support@hometrust.com.au. Those ladies are a lot more knowledgeable than myself in trust accounting, is very specific. And if you've got questions about your billing with Homhero, so your actual invoices, that goes to admin@homestar.com.au. I mentioned that we do also put these recordings up on the knowledge base. So you can also find that when you go to start your live chat, you start typing in there, it will suggest articles for you. So that's how you can find the knowledge base, or there's the link there. So we do have our recordings. We're working on getting some other short videos up there as well about normal tasks within Homhero. If there's anything that you cannot find, please let us know and we'll try to get an article up there. I will add in, like I said, the article that's got all of the available features for your OTA, so you can take a look and start thinking what you'd like to add. And then down there, we do also have our status page as well. So in case there are any noted maintenance or any issues that we notice even with our third parties, like RMS, for example, if they have a slight outage, we would pop that on our status page there so you can stay up to date. Lovely. I will end on that one, which has got my direct contact if you need me, just tashana@homhero.com.au, and then support@homhero.com.au for general support as well.